Oh, no! All right, enough. Hello, friends. I'm Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to the shit show of all insanity. CiottiFPV just text messaged me. Nice. Cheers, friends. This is disgusting, but I'm gonna drink it anyway. This is some, like, $1 mudslide mix from the grocery store that I then put a bunch of peanut butter whiskey in. So it's one bad thing mixed with another. Sounds like my last marriage. Hey! Welcome to Fresh Build Friday. We are going to be building a Fractal 65. This is... What's happening there, OBS? This is the ultimate high-quality TinyWhoop that we're building tonight. I work with Joshua and a couple of other guys on his website, the Ultimate Shopping List, fpvknowitall.com, and 6-ish months ago or so, Joshua said, hey, I want to do a TinyWhoop page. Can you do all the things on there? All the things meaning suggest a bunch of bind and flies and then a bunch of builds. So I, of course, said yes. And the two builds that we started with were the cheap and easy build and the high quality build. And it used to be based around the NewBeeDrone BLV3. You can't really get the BLV3 right now, and the BLV4 is a little sketchy. There's some problems with it. So I have been changing. I have changed. It should be changed by now. The high quality build. So the cheap and easy build is what I fly. It's these little Mobula 6s with the Meteor 65 frames. I don't have a motor swap in the build because most people, so like when I do those builds, I'm doing them for the masses. You know, with you guys, we talk about like the absolute ultimate high quality, high performance builds here. But yeah, for those builds, it's for, it's more catered towards new pilots. You guys are much more experienced. And girls. So yeah, but it is these builds. It's a Mobula 6, Meteor 65 frame swap, BT 2.0, singularity antenna, and it's great. But Happymodel is not a pillar of quality, as we all know. So Joshua wanted me to do like a high quality build, and yeah, the current generation high quality build is based around what I've been assuming is the highest quality AAO that we have, which is this T-Motor F4. Unfortunately, as we found out previously, this T-Motor F4 does not fit in any of the TinyWhoop frame. Well, I can't say any, but it doesn't fit in the Meteor 65 frame, and it doesn't fit in the Cockroach frame. And really, those are the only two frames that kind of matter, in my opinion. So I was kind of like, well, shit, what am I going to do now? And then I realized that I've got this Fractal 65 frame floating around. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to put this T-Motor F411 into the Fractal 65 frame that I had previously used on a HD0 Mobula 6 build. And I'm going to put some more batteries through this Fractal frame to see if there's anything that it does better than my current favorite build, which is Mobula 6 ELRS, Meteor 65 frame, 0702, 30,000 or 32,000 kV motors, BT 2.0. That's really it. Singularity antenna. It's an astoundingly simple build that I have kind of settled on for my favorite flying rig, which seems weird. Like usually, you know, although it's really good. Usually, I feel like, you know, those of us that tinker with stuff, when we finally settle on like our favorite setup, it's all over the place. It's super customized. We're filing stuff down. We're drilling holes and stuff. And what's really annoying about that, and this is something that goes back into the motorsport world, which I was previously knee deep in before FPV for 18, 19, 20 years, is that when your rig is like super customized, when inevitably you break or lose it, it's a real pain in the ass because you got to build another one that's got all this time and effort put into it to get it to where your original one was at. So yeah, having like my favorite ultimate freestyle TinyWhoop build be like a super simple build, that's incredible. That really, and like in the world of motorsport, the folks that have been around for a long time and have learned that lesson, you'll notice that like their builds are a little boring. Like they will find like the best like OEM chassis and then the best OEM motor that will fit in there. And then, like, yeah, a lot of kind of off-the-shelf parts rather than, like, super customized parts, because they're more available, they're cheaper, and, yeah, you can get almost the same amount of performance sometimes. So, yeah. What's up, friends? In the chat, Frank Nicholas was first, Adam C was next, Mr. Blue Sky, Freeloader, Raven 187, Titan, Northern Tier, Fractal Eyes, Stevo 465, fuck! Sevo 43068, Northern Tier, Metal Dirt Skin, Mr. Blue Sky again, Brandon Woodford, Mick Mucus, Fractal Eyes again, Michael D, Bobby Bags, Triton FPV, Arizona, Titan again, Paul McDonald, YouTube just did the thing. Come on, YouTube, you're killing me. Morton Upshot, Ram Donko, Michael D, Envy of the Birds, CMYK FPV, Michael D again, Riot 9, Paul McDonald, Metal Dirt Skin, Triton, TK, The Battery 00, Zeft, Brandon's Baked Beans, Brian Lewis, Bobby Bags. What's up, friends? How are you? How's everybody doing on this Friday? You made it. You made it to the end of the work week. My work week is ridiculous. My work week, I don't really have an end of my work week per se. You know, I work Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So yeah, it's not the end of my work week. And on my off days, I tend to do stuff too. But congratulations, you've made it. Gross. Yikes. Hey, if you want to talk directly to me in the chat, all you got to do is type CiottiFPV. If you do it and you spell it right, it'll light up an orange and I'll know that you're talking to me. Those are the only comments that I read. You can do that with each other too. If you want to get somebody's attention in chat, type their name, spell it right, put the spaces in the right places, and it'll light up an orange for them and them alone. This is my full-time job. Can you believe it? Head on over to CiottiFPV.com to support me. Being a full-time FPV something is kind of tough, to be really honest, and I need your help. I rely on beautiful people like you to support me. That way, I'm not beholden to any companies that like sponsor me and send me a ton of stuff, right? Like, if I get a motor and it's terrible, I'm going to tell you that it's terrible because I paid for it or it was sent to me with, you know, an understanding of I'm going to review it properly. So, yeah, this is something that I kind of stole from Joshua Bardwell. He operates in this way, and it's why his reviews are so fair and good. And yeah, you guys are very generous. To do that, to support me directly, hit the Patreon button. Patreon definitely helps me out the most, as it says here. You can get on for as little as $3 a month, but if you want to get in on some giveaways, I do 6 giveaways a month for patrons. The $5 and up tiers will put you in on giveaways every other Monday. We did one this last Monday. We'll do another one, not this coming Monday, but the Monday after that. That's how math works. There's also an Etsy store with some really fun stickers and random hardware that might be useful for your next build. There's a Fiverr page where you can work directly with me one-on-one. I've been doing this for over 6 years. Do yourself a favor and spend a little bit of money on saving a ton of time. You can rapid fire a whole bunch of questions or just talk about whatever. We can go through like how to tune, and we can go through some build planning so that you stop building rigs that don't fly right or catch on fire. Or you can, like I said, just rapid fire a whole bunch of questions. If you want to learn to fly better, I can do that with you as well. I am an award-winning pilot. There's an award over here. There it is. Look at that's my one award. That's my award. That's for the Rippies freestyle competition at Rampage last year. These are all the stickers that are on Etsy, by the way. So yeah, let's work together and help you fly better and have more fun and not poop your pants. Because, you know, you're too old to shit your pants, so get it together! You're never too old to shit your pants. Let's be real here. Because alcohol. Cheers. To shitting our pants. Is that the first? Is that the first time anyone has ever cheers to shitting our pants instead of to shitting my pants? Oh, I'm gonna throw up for sure. Oh, it's not that bad. I got a Teespring store with a bunch of really fun shirts and a kill-all carbon tote bag. You need that tote bag. Get yourself a kill-all carbon tote bag or I'll stab you. This is PayPal where you can send me money. Super chats are great, but YouTube and Google take like 30-something%. So if you want to support the madness directly without like buying yourself something nice, do the PayPal instead of super chats. Look at all these affiliate links, yo. Affiliate links are a big part of what allows us content creators to keep creating content. You can replace your bookmarks with these affiliate links, or you can just like type Amazon into your top bar and then exit out and then hit my affiliate link a bunch of times and it'll suggest Amazon when you type AMA. You have to hit the affiliate link. When you check out from a website, it clears the affiliate link out. So you can't just hit my affiliate links once and be good to go. I have them for WeBleedFPV, NewBeeDrone, FPV Cycle, Amazon, GetFPV, Oh My God, HD0, Flywoo, Emacs, Banggood, Camera Butter, and AliExpress. It is free money. There is absolutely no reason to not use an affiliate link every time you do an order on the internet. You're going to help somebody keep doing the things that they do and making free content for you to watch here on YouTube. Hey, how about this? Quadbod had a hysterical suggestion. This is the 2023 CiottiFPV diet. Skip a meal a week and give me the $5. Do whatever you want. But I thought that was hysterical. And he's actually doing that. He's trying to lose a little weight. I should probably not say that. Too late. But yeah, he's decided to skip a meal a week and send me the $5. And he gets in on giveaways too. Eventually he'll win giveaways and that'll pay for a whole bunch of his Patreon subscriptions. Down below in the description is the gear that I use and trust. I updated it recently. Check it out for sure. And that's all the shilling stuff that I want to go over. So yeah, we're doing a fresh build tonight. What do you guys think of that? Hey, in the chat, Titan tagged me and said, do you think that Happymodel EX1102 13,500 kV motors would work well, the GepRC Smart16? My experience with the Happymodel 1102s is that they are completely out of balance. So I cannot recommend them for any build because no matter the build, if your motor is out of balance, it's going to be a goddamn nightmare. So I would not recommend those motors. Maybe it was just the set that I got, but I doubt it. But maybe. I also don't know what a GepRC Smart16 is. So I'm assuming it's a 1.6-inch propellered rig. That's by the name Smart16. And an 1102 is a good match for a 1.6 millimeter prop rig. So if you can find a set of them that aren't out of balance, and if that's a 2S rig, that might be a good motor for it. Titan says, have you tried using the Fractal without the ducts? Does it fly well, or shouldn't it fly better outside then, or question mark? I have not used the Fractal without the ducts. I didn't even think about it, but like a couple days ago, I actually realized, like, hey, that's a real bonus of the Fractal frame, is that you can take the ducts off. I have flown little rigs like this, though, without ducts, and they really don't make much sense to me. Like, they are a little bit faster outside, but they're not that much faster, and what you end up with is something that slides around a lot. Like, thank you, Paul McDonald. I will read your chat comment in a little bit. Hello? Oh, hi, Duke. What you end up with is a rig. So one of the things that the ducts do a really good job of is when the rig wants to slide sideways, the ducts are this big vertical aerodynamic nightmare. So when it goes to slide sideways, the wind resistance on the duct will stop it from sliding sideways. What that means is you can shoot really small gaps, because when it wants to, like, if you're coming towards a gap and you're not like totally lined up, you just make a correction and it just drives straight, and it really makes the rig much more accurate. Without the ducts, they slide around a ton, and it makes shooting gaps a lot harder. If you're a much better pilot than me, maybe that doesn't matter. But I'm a half-decent pilot, so I have a feeling that most people are going to be affected even worse than I am by that. The benefit is that the rig is a little bit faster, but these little rigs are so slow anyway that it's like, ooh, I'm going 18 miles an hour instead of 16 miles an hour. Wow, this is so worth it. It's not. And then these little motors are very fragile, so like without the ducts, you're going to break a ton of the little motors, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. I know that a lot of people like it. My suspicion is that a lot of those people are kind of on the hype train, and they spent $200 on a rig with 1.2 or 1.6 inch props without prop guards, and their brain is forcing them to think that it's better. But like when you fly one of those rigs and then you put like a regular TinyWhoop up outside, I think you'll kind of see that the regular TinyWhoop is kind of just as good, but much more accurate for shooting gaps. And if you're shooting that tiny little gap, and you bump into the side of it, it doesn't tumble out of the air. It just bounces off and away you go. So yeah, I've tried it a bunch. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like if I'm flying a tiny little rig, I want to shoot tiny little gaps. And the best way that you can possibly do that is have ducts on the rig. I've now got 2 of these damn things. These are my Jungle Gym bashers. This is the main one. And then this is one that I just threw together last night, because I do like these Flywoo 1002 23,500 kV motors. If you want to fly a TinyWhoop outside, this is how you do it. Mobula 7, and then you swap the motors out, because the motors that it comes with are hideously underpowered. If you want a heavier outside small rig, you're gonna go on GetFPV, and you're gonna go to GetFPV with my affiliate link, please, and then you're gonna buy a set of these Flywoo 1002 23,500 kV motors. These are the highest kV 1002 motors, and they are awesome. The rig is a little bit heavy though. At some point, TinyWhoop.com will have these iGao 0802 27,000 kV motors with a 1.5 millimeter motor shaft back in stock. And then you can run them on bi-blades. These 1002s, you can run them on bi-blades, but they really like tri-blades. These are the brand new Gemfan super low pitch, super lightweight 1.6 inch tri-blades. And these 1002s are brilliant on these props. PyroDrone has these props in stock. They're the only store right now. But this is the one that I really dig. And yeah, it's just a Mobula 7 ELRS 1S. You're going to go BT 2.0 for sure. That's just a given on all TinyWhoops, all small rigs. And then the batteries that you want are the BeeFPV 1S 450s, or TinyWhoop sells the same battery, 1S 450. The label, the sticker on the BeeFPV batteries doesn't peel off as easily. They're the same exact battery, so you might as well get them from Weebleed, and I do have an affiliate link there as well. Or Emax has a 300 mAh little fatty boy battery, and this is going to be even lighter. You're going to sacrifice quite a bit of runtime, but who cares? It's a TinyWhoop. Just bring it back and unplug the battery real quick and plug another one in, and away you go. So yeah, if you want to fly outside, this is the way to do it. This like ductless 1.2 or 1.6 inch rig thing, it just doesn't make any sense. You like, yeah, it doesn't do the thing that little rigs do well, which is shoot gaps that are like this big. If you want to fly outside without ducts, build a 3-inch toothpick. and then it's going to be 1,000 times more competent than these little ones. All that being said, do it for yourself if you're going to do a Fractal build, because you can. Make sure that you don't use the longer screws, though, that come with the Fractal build. The longer screws that the Fractal build comes with are specifically for going through the carbon fiber frame and through the base of a duct up into the motor. If you're going to do the Fractal frame with no ducts, you've got to use regular TinyWhoop screws, the screws that more than likely came with the motors that you bought, or with the Whoop. So there you go. Great questions, Titan. Michael D says, Michael D is speaking another language. Envy the Birds says, what's up, flying my first Whoop race tomorrow. Very cool. CMYK says, sipping on some scissor. Paul McDonald says, greetings from Hawaii. I flew over the ocean for the first time yesterday and I didn't go in the water. I did go in a tree, but I hit the ground. That's all that matters. Nice, Paul. Man, is it creepy to fly over water. Like, you can I have a lot of confidence in my gear. I spend extra time when I'm building to make sure everything is really clean, and then I only ever fly over unrecoverable spots. The ocean is the most unrecoverable spot. I only fly over unrecoverable spots in rigs that I have put 10 or 20 or 30 batteries through back to back to back to back to back without it falling out of the sky. Like, if you have a rig that like has been falling out of the sky, don't fly it over the ocean. Just don't, because it's gonna fall out of the sky again and into the ocean. And then that's it. Don't even bother getting it, because the salt water is just gonna ruin everything other than the frame. But it's still sketchy. Metal Dirtskin says, how about these new crazy BetaFPV 45mm frames and gem fan props? Is that going to be the way to go for a tiny lifter? I actually don't know what you're talking about, Metal Dirtskin. BetaFPV 45mm frames? 45mm. 45mm propellers. What? Swat? Oh, hush up, Nancy. 45mm. What is 45mm in inches? So that's 1.7 inches. So they're going bigger than 1.6. Man, these companies will do anything to get your guys' money. They ain't getting my fucking money, though. I don't know. I mean, from 1.6 inch to 1.7 inch, that's really not enough of a difference. So it's absolutely not going to be the way to go for a tiny lifter, because this frame does not have a carbon fiber brace. The reason why the tiny lifter works is because the Cockroach 75 frame has a carbon fiber brace on it. Maybe this will work, but I've tried to do a tiny lifter on a frame that doesn't have the carbon fiber brace, and it just doesn't work. So, I mean, prove me wrong and build one on this frame. That would be cool. I would love that. I'm not going down that road. I'm perfectly happy with my current setup for the tiny lifters. And, you know, here's the other issue. This is a 1S frame. You're only going to put a 1S battery in this frame, and 1S is not enough to carry a 26-gram load. That's what she said. Unless you're my ex-wife. Fuck that bitch. No, just kidding. Hey, so, yeah. This is not going to work. If somebody makes I mean, you could hack up the battery bay and just like rubber band a battery down there, but I just don't think I don't think a plastic frame is going to work with, like, running 2S on an AIO. You are pushing the boundaries of like what's possible. And because AIOs do not have many capacitors, and the higher you go in voltage, the more electrical noise there is. So you're like, so then if you have a frame that's kind of wobbly, you're going to have a bunch of electrical noise, and then you've got a bunch of physical vibrations, and it just doesn't work out. So yeah, unless somebody makes a carbon fiber brace for this frame, I highly doubt that you're going to be able to make this 45 millimeter setup work. I got to be honest, man. This is very This strikes me as just 100% hype train right here, because there are not many motors that can handle a 1.6 inch propeller, let alone a 1.7 something inch propeller. So yeah, my take on this is that they're not selling enough 1.6 inch propeller stuff, and bigger is always better, right? I mean, unless you're doing like, if you're doing long range tiny whooping, then I guess these 45 millimeter props are going to be better. I don't guess, they are. But yeah, in terms of like freestyle or anything like that, 1.6 inches is completely fine. This is interesting. I'll give it that. I'll give it up. This is interesting, and I'm kind of curious about this for these jungle gym bashers, and or an HD0 setup, but absolutely not for a tiny lifter. This doesn't really make much sense to me for a tiny lifter, just because of the frame situation. I saw this Meteor 75 Pro frame, and I was like, oh cool, maybe it'll be more durable than their other 75 millimeter frames. The problem is that the Happymodel Mobula 7 V4 frame is extremely durable. But I've been kind of curious about this Meteor 75 Pro frame. I did not realize that it used a bigger propeller. That's kind of interesting. So I'll probably snag one of these at some point, if I'm honest. Thanks for pointing that out. Thanks for costing me $10. Whoever it was. Metal Door Skin. Bobby Bag says this build may be a contender. The one that I'm about to do? I hope so. I don't think so, but you never know. Michael Blade says, what's up? Metal Durskin says, I'll drink to that. Brains McBean says, I need more freestyle practice. Oh, by the way, my local PD has a UAS sergeant who works with the FAA and paid me a personal visit. Oh, God. That was scary at first, but ended fine. But they know me, so that's a thing. That's a little weird. That's a little weird. How? That's... June Logan says, what's up, Ciotti? What's up, collective? What's good, collective? Where was I? YouTube did the thing. Arizona says, why are TinyHawks so much more expensive than other TinyWhoops? Emacs just kind of charges more money. They do a lot of custom molded parts, and those are really expensive. Well, I mean, they're not expensive, but the molds are what's expensive. So... yeah. Paul McDonald with a $5 super chat. He says, do you have your Insta 360 go-to settings anywhere posted? I don't, but there really aren't many settings. So I run it on, I think you can get to the settings in here. I run it on the Pro mode, 16:9, 1080p, 30 frames a second. I don't think there are many other settings than that, are there? Let me see. Let's go into settings. Settings. High bit rate, you want to turn that on? Done. Yeah, I don't think there really are. many settings other than that. No, don't record. I don't need to record. If there are settings that you're questioning, Paul, just tell me what they are, and I'll tell you what they should be. Poiter says, do Diamond F4 AIOs have a lot of issues? Tons. Stay the hell away from them. I have a new Mobeetle 6 out of the box. It sucks. That's twitching like crazy, causing drift. I assume bad gyro. Either a bad gyro or that board is just cursed. Try to return that rig. The ELRS Diamond boards are a complete nightmare. Even if you can spend 15 hours getting it working, it's just going to blow up as soon as you start crashing the damn thing. They're not only are they a complete nightmare to tune, they're extremely fragile. So whoever you bought that thing from, send them an email and say, hey, this thing is not working out of the box. CiottiFPV told me that these Diamond ELRS boards are garbage. I need to return this. And hopefully they'll let you. Titan says, I love you, man. Keep up the great work. Thank you, brother. Baby Takes Flight says, good evening. Sorry I'm late. It's all right. I forgive you. Ramdango says, Mr. Leahy loves hawks. What the hell does that mean? All right, another sip of this, and then we're going to dive into this build because it's going to take a while. The fractal frame is a pretty challenging build. Here we go! So, we are doing Fractal 65, T-Motor F4, TinyWhoop 30,000 kV motors, and I'm actually going to use a NewBeeDrone BeeEye camera on this because I don't have any extra. Oh, and I'm going to use Cockroach 65 ducts because I don't have enough Meteor 65 ducts. But, to be honest, these ducts are a better idea. These Cockroach 65 ducts have 4 supports, and they are made of stiffer plastic. My main concern about TinyWhoop frames that are carbon fiber is that these little tiny 1mm thick motor shafts are extremely fragile. And when you bolt this motor to a carbon fiber frame that's really strong, the base, when you crash, the base of the motor is solid on the carbon fiber. So if you crash really hard and the ground pushes into the duct and the duct pushes into the propeller, all of the load gets put on this little 1mm motor shaft, and these will absolutely bend and or break. So if you're going to do a fractal build, in my opinion, you want to go with the duct that is the strongest to hopefully prevent that from happening. And the strongest duct is hands down the Cockroach, the NewBeeDrone Cockroach 65. So that's my justification, and I think you should too. If you're going to do a fractal build, I think this is the duct that you should run. The Meteor 65 ducts are a little bit lighter, but like I said, you're going to have a real big potential for broken motor shafts or bent motor shafts, and that's just super annoying. It's not the end of the world, but it's very, very, very annoying. So let's dive straight into this. This T-Motor F411 6-amp AIO has a built-in VTX, and it's got built-in Express ELRS. Unfortunately, what it doesn't have is a plug for the camera. You have to direct solder the camera to this thing. So I'm going to cut the lead off of this NewBeeDrone BeeEye camera, and we are going to direct solder this right to the board. That's the first thing that we're going to do because that's kind of the only soldering that we need to do, which is pretty awesome. I love the simplicity of TinyWhoop builds. Let me move the chat over here. CMYK did something. Let's see what he did.
Paul McDonald with a $5 super chat. He says, do you have your Insta 360 go-to settings anywhere posted?
He did a clip.
But there really aren't many.
Very cool. Doc says, no BT 2.0 on this brick of a build. Yes, BT 2.0. Always BT 2.0. The T-Motor comes with pH 2.0, but they give you a BT 2.0 lead. How amazing is that? So that's the other soldering that we're going to do. Let's actually do that first. Good call, brother. Good call. We're going to do that first because it's the easiest. Red is in the corner, but there's nice silk screening on this board, so that'll be easy. On all the other boards, the NewBeeDrone and the Happymodels, ground, I think, is closer to the corner, which is why I was like, red is in the corner. Let's do this with the close-up cam so that you guys can see what on earth I'm doing here. This is a pretty straightforward soldering job, although it is very small. With these really small soldering jobs, my eyes are not what they once were, so I use this awful little headset thing with some magnification. So I'm going to put that on right now so I can see what the hell I'm doing in a second here. So we're going to just remove this pH 2.0 connector first, and then we're going to swap on the supplied BT 2.0 connector. So I put a little bit of flux on there. I'm just going to grab the positive lead and give it a little pull here while I bring heat onto that onto the solder joint on the top of the through hole here. Be patient, and out comes, in theory, out comes the positive lead. There it is. And now we're going to do the ground. And come on. If you have regular television, a bunch of the work that I did for Bravo TV will be on the season finale of Family Karma. So you can check that out if you want. I don't have regular television, so I can't even watch it, which is kind of frustrating, but, you know, whatever. I ain't paying $100 a month for regular TV. That's absolutely absurd. All right, so now we're just going to replace those. Can you guys see what the hell I'm doing? Sort of, kind of, a little bit, not really. All right. We're going to replace with BT 2.0. So get this lined up on the bottom here. Put some heat onto the joint from the top. And then, all right, so let me do this a little different here. All right. So bring the heat in for the top. From the top, get the whole joint nice and warm. And then we're going to feed the BT 2.0 lead in from the bottom here. Kind of doing it by guesswork, and it's not really working, so I'm going to change my little tactic here because I need to see where that hole is that I'm putting this thing through. So you guys aren't really going to be able to see this all that good, but I just need to get this done. So stand by here, friends. I'm going to bring the heat in from one side, and I'm going to move my head over to the other side. This is the one sort of problem with through holes, is that you're bringing the heat from one side and feeding the wire in the other, and it just makes life a little bit difficult, but it's worth it because through holes are really, really strong. All right, so what I did here is I was able to get the lead. Nope, no, I wasn't. All right, so let's get some flux on this joint. And that will transfer the heat a little bit better. Although this PCB is currently like boiling hot from all the time that the tip of that soldering iron has spent on it. So let's come right back in here, and we're going to do the ground first. So you just got to kind of eyeball it. And come on, little fella, get in there. You could absolutely just flat solder this, but I really, really, really do like to use these through holes. With these power leads, you have a tendency to kind of yank on them every once in a while when a battery lead gets stuck or whatever, or when you crash really hard. So it's nice to have the it's nice to use the through holes, because then you know that your power lead is as solid as it can be. Oh man, I'm having a hard time with this. Is it not heating up through the bottom? That could be the issue. So at these factories, since they're soldering all day every day, they use non-leaded solder, and that shit sucks. So what might be going on right now is that this is non-leaded solder, and it's not melting all the way through this through hole. Okay, I think that's what's going on. So what we're gonna do is get some solder braid here, and we're gonna absorb and pull out the existing solder that's in there. This is called solder wick. It is great, great, great stuff. You should not be soldering without it. So all we're gonna do is lay this down on top of these solder joints, and then we're gonna put the soldering iron on top to transfer heat through, and it's gonna pull the solder up into this wick like this. You'll see the wick change from like a copper color to silver as it's working. It does have flux in it, but it also helps to add a little bit of extra flux. You can put it directly onto the solder wick. That's how I kind of prefer to do it. So the solder wick is now loaded up with flux. We're going to put that down against the board. I'm going to do this on a flat surface here so that I can really kind of push on this. And all right, here we go. So we're going to put this on here, and we're just going to suck up the solder that's already in there. That smoke is the flux doing its job and transferring heat. So we're just going to give it a second or two here. And man, it is having a rough time. So let's take a different tack. Let's add a bunch of solder to mix in with the existing unleaded solder, and then we'll try to remove. By adding solder like this, we're also pouring a bunch of flux onto these joints. There's one, here's the other, and now we're going to flip them. They actually just bridged, but that's okay. We're going to flip it over, we're going to do the same to the back, and then we're going to use the solder wick to try to clean these holes out here. So same thing here, bring in the heat, add some fresh solder with some fresh flux. Both holes. And okay, so now we're going to come back to the top here. Got a big ball of solder forming. Let's get that out of there. And now let's see if this solder wick does. Once the solder wick starts to pull solder up, it starts to work a lot better. So it's just getting it over that initial, like, all right, so there we go. Now you can see it starting to get all silver, and now it's pulling up the solder out of those through holes. And now look how much solder that pulled out. Look how much solder that wick pulled out of there. Isn't that wild? So now what you want to do is cut this off, and we're going to come back in with a little fresh piece of the solder wick to see if we can remove any last little bit here. And I can already see the one hole is now, the positive hole is completely cleared out. Like I can see right through it. We're going to see if we can get the ground hole cleared out too. It's usually really difficult to get the ground hole to completely clear out, but at least if you mix in enough leaded solder, you'll be good to go. So I'm just hitting the ground hole again here. Oh man, this is ugly, yo. They used This is rough. Come on now. I'm gonna put some more fresh solder on here. Just trying to get it to chase all of the ugly factory solder out of here. Okay, there's the bottom. Here comes the top. Well, I can see it already starting to push through on the top, so that's good. Let's actually come right in with the solder wick here. All right. Oh man, it is fighting. It is putting up a fight. All right, hold on. I'm being lazy. Cut this off, get fresh solder wick. All right, a little bit of flux. Actually, I'm going to put it directly onto the solder wick. I really like putting the flux directly onto the bottom of the solder wick. Like I said, inside the solder wick, there is some powder flux, but adding a little bit more is the more flux, the better, like always. All right, here we go. Come on, ground hole, clear out. Clear out, yo. Please. Come on. It's transferring the heat, but the solder is just not coming up and out of there. Sometimes what I'll do is tin the tip of the iron so that there's immediately some fresh solder on the wick, and sometimes that'll then travel down and pull the factory solder out. In this case, it did not. This is tough. Let's keep going. We'll get it out of there. Well, actually, let's try now. Maybe we've replaced enough of it that it'll go. Basically, the problem that we're having is this through hole is not going completely liquid, so that I can push the lead through from the backside. And yeah. It's mainly because it's clogged up with junky, shitty solder. And the ground holes are tied into the ground plane, which is like a piece of conductive material, I'm pretty sure it's copper, that runs across the entire AIO. So let's see here. All I need to do is to have the whole thing, oh, I think we're good. And well, there it is. We're good. Perfect. And now the positive lead is going to be hysterically simple because the hole is completely cleared out here. So I can literally put this through the through hole right now, and then we'll just add solder to it to tie everything together. So super, super, super simple. We're going to just put heat on the one side and then add solder from the other. And away we go. There's actually a little bit too much solder on there. I don't like to have like a big solder ball up on top, so I'm going to clean the tip of my iron and then heat this back up and pull some of the solder out off of that joint. And now we're looking good. This is a 5X loop. There's a link to this down below in the description. If you're soldering without one of these, you've lost your damn mind. Really, really important. I'm going to take a look and make sure nothing's bridged here. Yeah, everything looks great. Awesome. All right, cool. We've got a little bit of extra wire sticking up above the through hole. Not a big deal, but I like to come in with a set of flush cutters and just trim it flat. Just be careful of any components that are right next door. There's a little tiny capacitor right next to this, so I'm just going to be careful. Take that one off, and then this is the ground. And yeah, it's just making it a little bit more flat up on top, just in case. You know, these are your main power leads, so God forbid a piece of metal drops down and bridges them. The lower they are, the less of a chance of that happening. So yeah, there we go. That's what we're left with. Cool, nice and flat, nice and smooth and shiny. The next thing that we need to solder on is the camera, but first we need to strip and tin the camera leads and find the pads. So let's untwist these guys. I'm actually going to untwist them all the way, and we're just going to separate them. Ramdango says, you could snip the braid at 45 degrees to get a point, just a thought. That's true. The braid, AKA says, what brand of liquid electric tape do you recommend? I have not found a great liquid electric tape, to be honest. So I don't know. Maybe somebody in chat will know. The braid, when you make the braid come to a fine tip, the problem is it won't want to absorb as much solder. Like, you kind of want it to have that big flat tip, so that it can absorb a bunch of solder up there. And usually you're going to bring the braid in from the side. So yeah, that's a good thought. If you were just looking to remove the tiniest little bit of solder, that would absolutely work. I was trying to clear out that entire through hole though, so I'm looking for it to remove a bunch. It drives me kind of insane that BetaFPV uses these non-silicone shielded wires here on their cameras. So this kind of sucks, but whatever. It'll be fine. It'll look a little bit ugly, and it'll be a little bit stiff, but, you know, welcome to my Friday nights. I'm gonna fucking roll tonight, yo. Dick jokes aplenty. Okay, let's tin these little bastards up, and then we will figure out what pads are what on this T-Motor F411 1S. So when you're tinning, you're just going to put the tip of the soldering iron below the wire and then bring the solder down from the top. This way you're making sure that you're pushing solder in between the individual strands of wire, right? Like these 30 gauge wires have a bunch of strands that are then encapsulated by the shielding. So yeah, there we go. They seem to have pretty decent silk screening on this board, so let me just take a quick look. Are there any pads very obviously labeled like V for video? Yeah, there we go. There's a cam pad, and then there's a 5-volt pad, and there's a G pad. So that's what we need. Cam, 5-volt, ground. Beautiful. So those guys are right up here. Let's get the detail cam fired back up here. I'm going to let this guy kind of sit up like that. So it's these three on the top. So let's get a little bit of flux on them. 1, 2, 3. And all right, we're going to just bring the solder in from the side here. Do the ground, no, I'll do the cam first. Cam pad is good. Missed the 5-volt pad on that one. Let's clean the tip of this iron. It's got a little bit too much solder on it. I forgot to hit the button. Here comes the 5-volt pad. Good, and then here comes the ground pad up on the corner. All right, all set. And so now we just need to bring the camera in. White is going to go to the cam pad, red is going to go to the 5-volt pad, and then black is going to go to the ground pad. The front of the board is... Oh, this is on the front of the board. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to do these facing downwards. I'm going to do the camera pad first here. And let's just bring this guy in like that. Okay, there's one. Now we're going to do 5 volt, and I'm going to use my really fine tipped tweezers for this. Pull this wire up over here. All right. That looks like it's going to be okay. That's not quite right. So let's get this flattened out a little bit. I kind of come in here. I'm just going to use my pinky to stabilize the board and grab that 5 volt. There we go. Nice and flat on the pad there. Okay, perfect. I'm going to do the same with this cam wire because it's kind of sitting up at a 45-degree angle. I want to get it flat on the pad. There we go, that's better. And then we're going to take the ground lead and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to get it nice and flat on the pad here. And I was trying to like half-ass that. Okay. There we go. It's on there, but it's not pretty. I want to get it a little bit better than that. There we go. All right, let's take our 5X loop and have a quick look. Oh yeah, we are fine. We are fine. This is what we're working with. There you go. So we are all soldered up. Let's start screwing stuff together. This is the part of the build that ends up taking a long time because there are a lot of screws involved and just like kind of little finicky bits on the Fractal setup. Interesting spot that they put the leads. Also, this BT 2.0 lead is way too long. I should have cut this down a little bit, but I was kind of just rushing through. These little rubber grommets that they give you are the perfect height for use with this Fractal frame. They did not do that on purpose. This AIO is for the T-Motor Tron, I believe it's called. Which is like a carbon fiber framed rig. So yeah, these this AIO was like very obviously not made for TinyWhoops. It was made for the Tron, and now they're just selling it as an AIO because they can. But yeah, unless you're using this Fractal frame, this AIO is gonna give you a little bit of trouble, so to speak. Not really trouble, but you know what I'm saying. So no, this ain't gonna work. The battery lead is exiting in like the perfectly wrong spot, and I can't put it down through. Oh man, I can't put it down through there because then it's gonna get in the way of the battery. See what I'm saying? Like it wants to go down through there. So what we're going to end up doing is flat soldering it to these pads. You could solder it to the top and let it loop out the top, but that's just gonna look super ugly. I mean, it's gonna look a little bit less ugly once these ducts are on it. Oh, my FPV is right. Now you can shorten it. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, there's just not a way. Yeah, no, this has to get undone. God damn it. Okay. Welcome to a Fractal build. there's a good amount of this kind of back and forth. Like, ooh, this is different. How do I do this? This makes regular TinyWhoop builds look like the easiest things in the world. I mean, they kind of are, regardless. But yeah. But hey, welcome to the world of custom building. So let's take this battery lead off of here. I'm just going to kind of half-ass this. You guys have already seen me do it. Come on. Come on, man. Come out of there. There's the positive lead. And here comes the ground lead. There we go. Okay. So we got some solder balls here. Let's clean these up a little bit. And all right, let's see how much I can kind of shorten this. So this guy's going to be sitting here. I'm going to flat solder those like that. And then the battery is going to be right around there. So I can chop a bunch of this off. I'm going to take a little bit of a guess, and I'm going to cut it. No, I'm not going to take a guess. I'm going to grab a battery and put it in the bay and see exactly where it sits. Ah, gross. Michael D says, it is better to flip the flight controller in Fractal frames. I don't like that, though. I don't like having the battery leads pointing upward, the battery connectors pointing upwards. The other problem I might have is the ceramic antenna. Let's see where the ceramic antenna would sit. Also, the camera pads are going to then be on the bottom. But the biggest concern I would have would be the ceramic antenna. Let's see where that would sit. Nah, it looks like it would be fine. Yeah, ceramic antenna would be fine. But I would rather have the ceramic... Nope. The ceramic antenna is hitting the frame. So yeah, that really will not work on this build. The ceramic antenna is smacking right into the carbon. But yeah, the frame is cut out in a way that the battery leads fit like perfectly down there, or the motor connectors. So yeah, I like to mount them in the proper orientation. Then you also don't have to screw around in configuration with board rotation and all that mumbo jumbo. So with the battery sitting in here, let's take a quick look. Just want to get a rough idea on how short I can cut this PT 2.0 lead. Okay, so the battery is going to sit like roughly there, and then this guy is going to sit up here like that. Hopefully the USB is not going to hit on the battery. I know that's sometimes a problem. That's the main reason that a lot of people will flip the flight controller upside down on these. If you're going to do what I'm doing right now, make sure that you separate these two. If I touch these two together, it'll spark. Oh Oh wow, apparently I can't shorten these at all. I can shorten them a little bit. I'm glad that I did this. I was going to cut them way too short. So this lead that they give you, it's got these big pieces of shrink wrap here. Shrimp wrap here. And that's really keeping them from bending. Can put a little bit of a bend in the shrimp wrap, but yeah, rip it off and solder a wire. Michael D says it would work better that way. Mr. Blue Sky says Ciotti sent me a collective T-shirt from the January giveaway. Kind of a must-have item. Can't wait for warm weather in 3 months. Snowing every other day. Yeah, the weather's been shit. What the hell's going on the West Coast? They're about to get the biggest blizzard in 1,000 years. Jesus. CMYK just moved there. I don't think he expected that. I'm not gonna shorten this. I'm just gonna leave it full length. I'm gonna do this like yeah. It's positive on the outside and then it's negative on the inside. So yeah, let's just flat solder these guys and we're gonna move on. Okay. All right. Got some flux going here. And I'm gonna have to put on this headset again because this is just infinitely small. Okay. Let's get these guys flat soldered on here. All right. No. Here, let me do it with the detail camera so you guys can see what the hell I'm doing. All right. There we go. This makes it way harder for me to do the work, but I mean, you guys are here watching, and that is very nice of you. So I'm going to try to give you as good a view as possible. Okay. So we're going ground on the left, and then voltage on the right. So here we go. Here's ground first. All right, and voltage right next door. Actually, I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to put a little bit more of an angle on it. Because they're going out the back of the quad, so I'm going to go a little angle on there. There we go. I'm actually going to add a tiny little bit of solder, though. I'm just going to pick up some solder on the tip of my iron. You know, this is not... These through holes are not meant to be flat soldered, so you want to make sure that you have a half-decent little blob of solder there. That is now perfect. That is coming off at a good angle. Grab my fine tip tweezers to knock out the voltage wire. And now I got to be a little careful with this one because there is a component like kind of right next to it, a little capacitor. Good to go. Awesome. All right, all is well. Those joints are nice and shiny, nice and smooth. It's not touching the component right next door, and they're pointing backwards where the battery is going to hang. Give them a little tug just to make sure they're nice and strong. You want them to pull off now rather than when you're flying and crashing the rig. All right. What's up, Danzilla? Michael D was hoping for a CiottiFPV beanie. Yeah, I got to get on that. I got to get some more stuff going on the Etsy store. Okay, now we can go back to mounting things up in the actual frame. So we're going to put these nice big and tall grommets on here. Okay. All right, and here we go. Let's pull this battery out of here. All right. Freeload Joe's up in Washington. He says the weather has lost its mind. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing, man. Crazy. Crazy. Meanwhile, here in Atlanta, it was like 70 degrees today. All the plants and animals are like, what the fuck is happening? Are we dead? Are we alive? All right, and it looks like, oh yeah, perfect. It looks like the USB is absolutely perfectly clear of where the battery is going to be coming through. Just by the hair on its chinny chin chin. I am going to use some M2 hardware for this. They give you, they give you some hardware that I'm really not interested in using. So I've already built this frame out, and I used M2 hardware, and it worked perfect. And I had to kind of open up the. This might actually be the M2 hardware that I used right here. I had to open up the holes in the carbon fiber for it a little bit. All right, so now I'm gonna go like 1 millimeter shorter than this. So let's see what we got here. This is probably an M2 by 8. Oh no, it's even longer than that. It's an M2 by 10, isn't it? Let's take a look here. Yep, these are M2 by 10, so I'm gonna put these away in the M2 by 10 thing. And then I guess I'm going to be using M2 by 8. So if you're doing this build, you're going to be using M2 by 8 hardware. Now you know. And I think I actually have some M2 by 8 titanium hardware in here. I think that's what this is. Let's see. Will it stick? No, it's not titanium. Is this one titanium? Yeah, this one is. So I do have some M2 by 8 titanium. I'll be damned. Let me find two more. I'm pretty sure this one. The top part of this little work mat is magnetic. So with titanium screws, you put them on a magnet and it doesn't have any effect on them. That is not, I can kind of tell by the color now. That is not. Come on, yo, where's the rest of the titanium at? That's not it. Okay, what about this one? Nope. Is that one? Nope, that's magnetic. Is this one? Nope. What the hell? Do I really only have two? Come on now. How the hell would that work? I think I got some of these M2 by 8 titaniums from some Brother Hobby VY motors. But it would appear that I only have two of them, and that's maddening, so I ain't going to use those. I'll save those. And I'm going to use these regular metal ones. Okay, so let's make sure that they're the right length. Yep, they sure are. Perfect. So yeah, M2 by 8 is what you want. I think I have some M2 by 8 hardware for sale over on the Etsy store if you need any. Okay, so let's get these guys cranked down on here. Let's crank down, friends. What do you say? Nah, I ain't cranking down with any of you guys. No offense. Okay, so yeah, like I said, I've already kind of bored the hole. Oh, you bastard, you. I've already kind of bored the holes in this frame out a little bit to use M2 hardware. When you buy this frame, you could probably use the hardware that this comes with. I did that because I was running the HD0 setup, and I had to do like really long hardware. But yeah, the hardware that this Fractal 65 frame comes with will more than likely work perfectly for you. Okay. And here we go. Hold on, guys. I gotta yell at the kids. Azalea's not out here with you guys this week. Alright, good. Air conditioning's on. Yo, that's how hot it is here. The fucking air conditioning is on. It's been on for days. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. All right, more. Here we go. So I got one screw in, which is kind of enough just to hold this board in place. Let's throw another one on. I don't think we'll need to pull this board back off, but we might. But there we go. We got two in there. I locked it! Okay. We're good now. Yeah, everything is looking good. Let me show you guys the USB port real quick, how flat it kind of sits. How can I show you guys this? There we go. See the USB port there? See how it sits nice and flat? That's what you need, because the battery goes right through there. You don't want the battery pushing up against the USB port. That's important. That's why most people flip the AIO upside down. I'm gonna put the other screws in here because, like, we're good. The camera is gonna get mounted up front. The motors are gonna get screwed down. Everything's gonna get plugged in, and that's kind of it. Like that's this build's gonna be good to go. It's just like at this point of the build, things are kind of fiddly because these little screws are so small, and you're like, yeah, there's just a whole bunch of really small screws that have to go on here, and it's just, it's a little fiddly. But TinyWhoop builds are all kind of like that, so get used to it, yo. Get used to the fiddlesticks. Okay, so this is the little BeeEye camera. I'm gonna twist it up in a direction that makes sense. I'm gonna twist it up in this direction just to shorten the wires up a little bit. The wires are soldered up to the front of the AIO here. So we've got plenty of wire. I could have cut this like really short, but they use these really thin wires, so that really wouldn't save much, if any, weight. So now this guy's going to go back out the front. I've got the TPU already mounted here through the frame, and you're going to loop it through the camera like that, and then it sits down like this. And then you got to take this back part and you go back down through the frame. Man, is it hard to kind of show you guys that, but if you do this build, you'll figure it out. Like it's in there, you'll see it. So we go back down through like that. Once it's done, I'll show it to you guys and it'll make a lot more sense. And then you pull this through. Pull this piece of TPU through. And now I've already kind of stretched mine out quite a bit because I had the HD0 camera in here. Yours will not be this stretched out. So yeah, keep that in mind. All right, there we go. Our camera is mounted. And that's looking good. All right, so let me show you guys what I just did. The TPU comes down through here. Let me just pull this light down to really give it to you guys good here. There we go. TP goes down through, goes up over the camera, and then it comes back down again, and you see how it peeks out in the bottom. And then the other piece of TPU is this single piece for the battery loop. So that's how it's supposed to sit right there. And then in the rear, you've got a little battery loop that goes up above, and then it's adjustable. You can pull this through. I have it tightened all the way up for these little tiny 300 mAh batteries. And so your battery just goes right through there. Make sense? If not, tag me in the chat and say, what the hell are you talking about, bro? Good amount of up tilt here. I don't think that I want quite this much up tilt. There is another slot in the base plate here. I think I'm going to pull this out and use that other slot. This is an awful lot of up tilt. Well, no, hold on. Let's compare it. Let's compare it to the up tilt that I run on the on my current rigs. So if I hold these flat like this, no, that's actually about right. That's about right. We're gonna leave it there. We're gonna leave it there. It'll be fine. We'll be all right. Okay. So now we need to put motors and ducts on, and this is where this gets kind of annoying, if I'm honest. We're going to use the supplied screws. The supplied screws are just barely long enough to go through the carbon fiber frame and through the plastic duct and into the motor stator base. So let's just get some of this other stuff out of the way. They give you a couple different pieces of hardware here. And these guys are what we're interested in now. These are the ones. So they're going to go up through the carbon fiber first, and then through the plastic, and then into the motor. So I think what I remember doing is just threading all three through the carbon fiber first, and then you put your finger on the bottom here, and then you drop the duct on. Okay. And then you put the motor down on top of that. And that. And then you just got to get the holes to line up. Yeah, see, this is where it gets like ultra fiddly. But you'll get there. You'll get there. There we go. Okay. So now you can kind of push down on the motor and get your other finger out of there. And then screw these down. These are Phillips. And there we have it. That's not too bad at all, actually. 1, 2, and 3. What I do like about the Fractal 65 frame is if you break a duct, you can just replace that single duct. So 3 screws and you're good to go. On a normal TinyWhoop, if you break a duct, you've got to replace the entire frame. Admittedly, though, replacing the entire frame is not like that much work, but if you're like at a race or something like that, yeah. I mean, you're talking about you got to remove 12 screws for the motors and then 4 for the canopy and AIO. Whereas on the Fractal frame, it's just 3 screws. Pull the 3 screws, pull the duct off, pull the motor off, and then swap a fresh duct on, and you're back in business. So that is kind of nice. I do like that about the Fractal frame, for sure. I got to just clean this up a little bit because it's actually smacking into the ceramic antenna. So let's just take a little bit more of this material off here. This is from where the duct was like meeting up with the battery bay of the frame. You know, you can't like just get these ducts. You have to get a regular whoop frame and then cut the ducts off of it, which is really easy to do. So that's no big deal at all. Just remove a little bit more material here. I would love to hit this with the Dremel, just on this one side where it's. I mean, I could also rotate this, but then the ugly chopped up bit here is going to be on the outside, and if you're not going to fly good, you got to at least look good. So we ain't doing that. But I think I probably just removed enough material. I can maybe just grab a quick diamond file and. I know this isn't a diamond file, but let's see. Can I just really quickly hit this and take some of this plastic off? Yeah, this is perfect. Hold on one second, guys. You gotta always make sure that your AIO is just floating. You don't want anything touching it, or you're gonna run into potentially run into vibration problems. I'm just using a regular old file. A Dremel would really speed this up, but a regular old file works totally fine. Ah, there we go. All right, perfect. So just removed a little bit of material here from the ugly spot where the, where we cut this frame off of the, we cut this duct off of the entire frame, and now we are good to go. All right, cool. So we're going to take another motor here and route it through kind of the same way. All right. Get the motor lined up. Got it. And then swap one for the other. Screw it down. Perfect. All right. Snug these down a little bit. And 2 more to go, and then I think we're done. Yeah, that's really it. What time is it? 8:30. Look at me go! Holy cow. We might even get to fly the damn thing. And next up, we've got motor number 1 here in Betaflight. Like what he says, NewBeeDrone is selling the little feet pads like on the BLV4. Ooh, I love that. Hey, speaking of NewBeeDrone, I let Kelvin know what happened on 2S, and he said that they have tested it on 2S, and it's been fine. They haven't done a lot of testing, but they have tested the BLV4 on 2S. And he's sending me another one. So we're going to try it out again. He's sending me another BLV4 and another return label. So we'll give it one more shot on the tiny lifters. And he's also sending me some other little goodies and surprises. And there's some cool stuff coming up. He showed me a couple of secrets that I can't tell you guys about. But yeah, there's some really cool stuff coming up. He was super appreciative that I let him know. And like, yeah, man, like NewBeeDrone is just great. They're just a great company. Kelvin's an awesome guy. Dalton is who does their customer service. He is super awesome. He's completely buried, but yeah, he's a great guy. And so yeah, man, NewBeeDrone is just an awesome company. And they've got some really cool stuff. And they've also got a lot more than just TinyWhoop stuff. They have tons and tons of 3-inch micro brushless and 5-inch parts on their website. So definitely check them out. And they're cool enough to give me an affiliate link, which, RDQ, for example, are not. So FRDQ, shop at NewBeeDrone. Shop wherever you want. Okay, and last duct here. We're going to put this one on like this. And come on. There it goes. We got the duct. And then let's bring in the motor. Okay. Again, these are TinyWhoop 0702 30,000 kV motors. There we go. All right, cool. Switch and screw. Wonderhudson says, NewBeeDrone doesn't always get it 100% right product-wise, but I've had nothing but good luck with their service. Yeah, for real. Michael D says, that reminds me, NewBeeDrone told me that OSD issues is a CPU clock desync and will be corrected in the next firmware. Very cool. I just saw somebody talking about it on Facebook, and they were saying that they moved their OSD elements to the bottom of the screen, and that fixed it. I thought that was kind of weird. But Kelvin actually replied in that thread, and he said, hey, we're working on it. We're going to get it fixed. So, yeah. Clock desync, eh? That's interesting sounding. I don't know what the hell that means, but it's pretty common around these parts, me not knowing what things mean. So there it is, yo. There's our Fractal 65 build. No props yet, but let's take care of that right now, actually. We are going to set this up props out because, as we have tested in the past, regular TinyWhoops do work better props out. This propeller slid way too easily onto that motor shaft, so what I'm going to do is take my thin-tipped tweezers. You can do this with any, you can do this with like a pin, anything that's got a sharp tip on it. Put it into the inside of the propeller, and you're just scoring up the inside of the propeller. You're trying to like raise an edge on the inside of the propeller so that that raised edge will bite against the motor shaft. Do it on the bottom, and then do it on the top as well. Just put it in there at a 45-degree angle and just rotate it around. That's going to score the inside, and then the next time you put it onto the shaft, you'll feel it's a lot tighter. Not too tight. It kind of makes it like the perfect amount of grippiness. And yeah, that one's a little bit too loose as well. Let's do it to this one here. Doesn't have to be exact. Just get something sharp and pointy in there and rotate it around. Makes a huge difference. You can also take a little bit of crazy glue and put it in there and wait for it to dry. Do not crazy glue the propeller onto the shaft. Just put crazy glue in there and wait until it dries, because then it'll make like a textured surface that'll bite against the motor shaft a little bit better. I prefer this way. If you do the crazy glue thing, eventually the crazy glue will push out of there and you'll have to do it all over again. This is like kind of damn near permanent. I have had to do this like once or twice more, but it's just easy. You know, you can just redo it real quick and away you go. So, no big deal. Once on the bottom, once on top. And this is motor 1 here. And you'll feel it when you're putting it back on there. It'll just, yeah, it'll just take a little bit more force to push it down on the motor shaft. These thin-tipped tweezers that I've got are really struggling. They're kind of on their last leg. I'm going to need to replace them at some point here. Bottom and top. Okay. We've got propellers. There we go. Beautiful. Let's throw it on the scale. Michael D says CiottiFPV beanie would be awesome. Something like an LTT. What's LTT? Lewis Tech Tips? Linus. That's it. Linus. 21.2 grams. So a little fat. That's one of the other things I don't love about the Fractal setup is it's a little bit heavier. You know, these are 0702 30,000, so they've got good power. 21.2 versus my normal setup. This is actually not my normal setup. This is on 0802, so this is a significantly bigger motor, 20.4 grams. My favorite setup over here is significantly lighter, coming in at 19.4 grams. So yeah, the Fractal setups are definitely a little bit heavier. They're not like NewBeeDrone Acro Bee heavy, but with TinyWhoops, every gram really does matter. So yeah, if we can get this up in the air, I'll probably be able to tell the difference in weight. Good looking little rig though, man. Really cool looking little rig. That's for sure. Let's get these motors plugged in. And man, we could shorten the shit out of these motor leads if we wanted to. They are very long. Yeah, man, do I have a... I'm trying to think if I have like a set of motors where the leads are too short. That would be perfect for this build. Oddly enough, I have a set of the... where did that just go? There it is. I have a set of the NewBeeDrone leads that are too short for anything. So maybe at some point that'll be the destiny of this 65 millimeter Fractal frame, is it'll get a NewBeeDrone AIO with a set of motors that have these way too short NewBeeDrone leads that I don't have anything else to do with. All right, there we go. Motors are plugged in. I got to do something about these motor wires. They're like gangly all over the damn place. So let's put them in that direction. Yeah, there we go. So we'll just fold them forward, kinda. So yeah, we could lighten this thing up a little bit by chopping these motor leads down significantly. Probably save maybe 0.3, 0.4 of an extra gram. But I mean, no matter what, this Fractal build is going to be a little bit heavier. It's just, you know, it's got pretty much all of the, other than the battery tray, it's got kind of the same amount of plastic, but then it's also got carbon fiber and it's got TPU. So yeah, inherently these Fractal builds are going to be a little bit heavier. I want to put one more twist into this motor lead here. There we go. That'll help it kind of sit flat. I want to make sure that they sit flat so that the wires don't get like hung up on anything. There we go. That's looking better. Cool. Let me give you guys a sexy look at this rig. Here, hold on. Hold on, please. I'll put a battery in it too. That'll make it look even cooler. No, I'm not gonna do that because I gotta hook it up to Betaflight. Let's put this in here. All right. Well, it's gonna sit sideways, but come over here real quick. And what do we got? What do we got? You got anything good for me? Oh yeah. All right, we got this. There you guys go. Let's get this thing into Betaflight, see if we can get it up in the air. Fractal Engineering 65 frame has been built. Betaflight configurator coming up. And let me move the chat back over where it belongs. All right, there we go. What? Oh, it helps if you plug it in, I guess. Plugging it in for the very first time. Let's first head on into the CLI and type status to see what gyro it's got. I think it's a BMI 260. 270 rather. Yep, there it is. Gyro BMI 270. So I don't like that. It's second best to the MPU 6000 is what I'll say. So let's check the board orientation. Nose down, nose up, left, right, yaw left, yaw right. So the board orientation is good to go. Come over here into the ports tab. TBS Smart Audio is on UART1. Configuration. Gyro is at 3.2K. PID loop is at 1.6. CPU load is all the way down at like 18, 19, 20%. So I'm actually going to move this up to 3.2 because there is a performance benefit of having the PID loop run a little bit quicker. So let's see what that does to the CPU load. CPU load is still only at 36, 40%, 38, so we should be totally fine doing that. Craft name Ciotti, accelerometer on, maximum arm angle we're going to bump up to 180. D-shot beacon we are going to turn on. This way we'll have an ESC beacon. Air mode is permanently on. OSD is permanently on. And that's pretty much it. Save and reboot. Next up, we're going to come into power and battery and just take a quick look. All right, so this is not right. Minimum cell voltage, we're going to put 3. Warning cell voltage, we're going to put at 2.8, I think is what I usually do. For some reason, this AIO does not have an amp meter. So when you first get it, the current meter source here is going to say onboard ADC. Apparently that doesn't work, but I'm going to test that for myself. I'm going to leave it at onboard ADC and the scale at 250, and we'll see what happens in the OSD. Failsafe, we're going to move this guard time to 3 seconds since it's just a TinyWhoop. This will basically, if it loses link for 3 full seconds, it'll hold the last signal that it got from the transmitter in hopes that it gets another signal. Don't do that on bigger rigs because it's a little scary. It's a little sketchy. Let's skip PID tuning for the time being. I do have a bind receiver button, so let's see if the binding is nice and simple on this guy. Turning on my transmitter.
Welcome to.
All right. And I'm going to go into my BetaFPV module here. Hold the button. Express ELRS. Let's scroll to binding. All right, bind mode. Press to send bind request. I just pressed. Now I'm going to click bind receiver. Let's see if it'll find itself. Hey! Man, is that nice. When Express LRS works, man, it is just terrific. So this is on channel map AETR, which I do not use. I use TAER, so I've just changed that. I'm going to move both my sticks into the bottom left. All of the numbers here are below 1,000, so I can move my stick low threshold to 1,000. Stick center, you always want to be 1,500. Stick high, I'm going to test by moving both my sticks up and right. All 4 of these numbers are above 2,000, so I'm going to move my stick high threshold to 2,000. Yaw deadband of 4, RC deadband of 4 as well. And then I'm going to take this RC smoothing auto factor and I'm going to move it up to 100. This is stick smoothing. I like a little bit of stick smoothing. I do not have the most stable fingers in the world. So now we're good to go in the receiver tab. We're going to head over to modes. The way that I set my modes is ARM on aux1, Horizon on aux2 with the switch all the way up. This way, if I lose video, I can just flip into Horizon mode. It'll turn the accelerometer on. The beeper, I like to put on aux3 in the all the way down position. We're going to skip OSD disable. I'm going to show you a different way of doing that. I don't think that this has black box. Flip over after crash. We're going to put on aux3 in the middle switch position. And then launch control, just for funsies, we're going to put on aux2 in the middle position. Click save. Now we're going to go into adjustments, and I have this really cool little thing that I do here to change OSD modes. You enable it, you set aux2, you bring the full range here, and then for then apply, you do OSD profile selection and then via channel aux2 and hit save. This now triggers my aux2 switch to move between OSD profiles 1, 2, and 3. You can see the switch moving there. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So now we come down to OSD, and we have to set 3 different OSD profiles that we want. I actually set the same 2, and I'm going to do it through the CLI. But basically, you've got 3 different OSD profiles, so you could have your switch position 1 have all of these things, and then you could have your switch. I think you guys see what I mean there. I'm going to do that through the CLI though. Servos, we don't have to worry about. Motors, we are going to go. Motor direction is reverse for props out. D-shot 300. Motor poles is 12. And motor idle percentage is pretty high, but we're going to leave it. Bidirectional D-shot is turned on. We're going to check the version of Bluejay. What's up, Fly Zone Drone? We're going to do save and reboot. And now we're going to take a pause to head on over to esc-configurator.com. We're going to plug power into the rig. Hopefully it doesn't explode. It's the first time I'm putting power to this AIO. It beeped, so we're good. Now that it has power, we're going to click connect, and then we're going to click read settings. Failed reading ESC1. That is because the transmitter is turned on. In order to do this, for some strange reason, you have to make sure your transmitter is turned off. Very, very weird. Let's refresh. We're going to connect. Yeah, now it's all angry. We got to pull power, and we've got to pull USB from the quad. Let it reset. Put USB back to the quad. Plug power back into the quad. We're going to refresh esc-configurator.com. Now we're going to click connect. We're going to click read settings. And there we go. So it already has Bluejay, but it's on 96K, which sucks, and it's only on 0.16, version 0.16. So we're going to come down here and hit flash all ESCs. We want Bluejay, which is already selected. Never, ever, ever touch this ESC setting. This particular one is on OH10, but they're all going to have a different number here. Never change that. For version, we're going to go to 0.18.1. That's the newest. And then for PWM frequency, we're going to do either 24 or 48. I prefer 48. It gives you a little bit more power. 24 gives you a little bit better flight characteristics because there's better braking on 24, but you just don't get as much power. And now we're going to wait for that to flash these ESCs. And I'm going to drink this disgusting mudslide thing. 8:56, 4 minutes from now, you guys should go watch some Bot Grinder. He streams every Friday at 9 o'clock Eastern. I try really hard to get these live streams done before he starts, but 2 hours is just not enough, man. You guys ask great questions, and I do a lot of stuff. Michael D says, with that BeeEye camera, you should check out how it looks when you set your goggles to 16:9. I kind of prefer it now when I fly my BLV4. I don't think my goggles will do that. I have Fat Shark HD2s, HD3s rather. I don't think they do that. Hey, if anybody has a line on a set of Fat Shark HD2s, let me know. I'd love to buy them. There is a set on FPV Exchange, but they're really expensive. So yeah, if you know anybody that has the really wide field of view Fat Shark HD2s and they're not looking for a ton of money for them, I would love to buy them. Beep strength, I move up to 120. Beacon strength, I move up to 140. Beacon delay, I changed to 2 minutes. And then brake on stop, I just turn on. And then we're going to click right settings. Those things are not a big deal. But not going to dive into it. Let's pull, well, nope, let's leave power to the battery. And, nope, it's a little bit grumpy, so let's pull power from the battery. Let's pull USB, that'll let the flight controller reset. We're going to plug USB back in. We're going to plug power back in. And we're going to go to the motor tab and spin these motors up to get them going in the right direction. So the motors are in the right locations. That's fine. Understand the risks. Wizard, start and spin motors. Well, that's not good. All the motors are just twitching. So let's close it, and then I'm going to click down here. I understand the risks, and I'm going to move this master slider up. Yeah, something ain't right. Something ain't right. These motors are kind of binding up. What's happening here? What? All the motors are twitching, but that's all they're doing. Why? Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing, Michael D. Michael D says might have to increase the startup power in Bluejay. What's weird, though, is that I moved this master slider up a lot, and it didn't do anything. And that's not a good sign. But let's come in here, connect, read settings, and we're going to whack the minimum and maximum startup power all the way up, and then write settings. And let's see if that helped. Connect. Nope. Connect. Yep, it was going. That was too quick. There we go. Motors. I understand the risks. And let's move this master slider up. No, there is something wrong here. The motors are not spinning very freely, which I gotta be honest, I do not understand. This one's completely locked up for some reason. Oh, it's these propellers. These propellers are hitting the standoffs in these ducts. That's super weird. Well, that motor is spinning the wrong direction. What the fuck? Like all the motors are having problems, which is really weird. Let me check this battery to make sure this battery's not just dead. Let's see here. Nope, 4.16. Battery's good. What? Why do these motors have so much resistance? What the hell? What the hell's going on here? Like both front motors. Oh my god, motor number 3 is awful. There's all kinds of resistance. And then motor number 1 is just straight up hitting the standoffs on the Cockroach ducts, which is very weird. Okay, so motor 1. Okay, so motor 1 is now good to go because it's now spinning the right direction. Motor 2. Motor 2 is trying to spin the right direction, but it's got like all this resistance for some reason. What is happening here? Motor 3, what say you? Motor 3 has an absolute ton of resistance. What the fuck? Same thing with motor 4. 4. All right. What? What? What is happening? What? Hold on. Let me get the 5X loop going here, and I'll take a look at the bottom of the motor to see if, like, something is rubbing against the C-clip, and it's not. C-clip spins completely fine. Let's see if there's anything on the side of the motor rubbing. No. Nothing's rubbing. I'm only looking at one. I'm looking at motor 4 right now. What? Okay. I mean, these motors were on a rig and they were fine. I don't really see what would have changed here. But let me keep looking. Stick a pair of tweezers in here and see what the hell this little thing is. It's a little piece of hair. So the bell is able to move up and down on the stator just fine. There's always like a little bit of up and down movement on these. That's normal. This is super weird. What? What is happening here? And it's, why is it all 4 of them? Why are all 4 of them like this? Check the bottom of the motor again. Oh, there's goop on the bottom of this. What the hell is that? What's that goop down there? What the hell? There's like goop on the bottom. What? Well, this one. All right, so this is the one that's fine. Oh, shit. I think I know what that is. Is that flux? Did I get a little heavy-handed with the flux? Oh, man. I messed these motors all up, I think. When I was soldering these leads back on, I think I got a little heavy-handed with the flux. And I think that's what the goop is on the bottom of these motors. That's super, super, super annoying. Yeah, I do not have time to fix that here on this live stream. But luckily we got the build done. Man, I was really hoping to fly this. But 3 out of the 4 of these motors are going to need to be disassembled and cleaned. And that's just going to take for friggin' ever. Yeah, they are like really locked up. Let me do one of them to show you how to get this, to show you how I get the C-clips off. And then I think I'm going to let you guys go watch some bot. Okay, so you pull the motor off. And, oh yeah, there is some serious goopage going on. This is, okay. And the goop is now on the bottom of this duct as well, so I gotta clean these ducts off. Yikes. Well, there's a first. I have not run into this before, but this is good to know. Gross. Do I have any Q-tips in here? Tell me I do. I do! Okay, so let's get this in the center of this duct. I mean, for all I know, the goop could have been in the duct. I don't know how or why it would, but my hunch is that it's a little bit of extra flux. Oh yeah, that is all kinds of... Alright, so let me take a look here. Yeah, that's flux. Yeah, I put way too much flux on these, and then the flux kind of moved around and it got itself all over the the little tiny bushing on the bottom there. Ooh, that sucks. This is gonna take me like, this is gonna take a while to clean up and fix. So the first thing I'll do is just hit it with a little microfiber here. And I should be able to get like a good chunk of that off. Not with it in this thing though. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hammer this with a toothbrush and ISO real quick. Because that is how you clean your boards after you want to get all the flux off. So let's see how good of a job this does. Alright, hold on. I'll do this off camera so that I don't get isopropyl everywhere. But I just have rubbing alcohol from fucking Target on a toothbrush, and I'm just brush the whole bottom of the motor. If this cleans it up, I will pop these motors off, do this real quick, and then we'll throw it back into Betaflight. But I have a funny feeling I'm going to need to disassemble these, because I have a funny feeling that this goop got all up in that bare bushing. But this is a good first little shot. Alright, so let's see. Oh, we good. It's nice and free again. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's go. Let's do this full speed, and we'll try to get this done. Ugelin says, Danzilla says your props the right way around. Ugelin says, with all my quads running Bluejay, I've had to set all motors to reverse in ESC coding and max out the ramp up power, and all the stuttering goes away. I've only had to do it once. I've only had to move the motor limit up once. I've been either pretty lucky or I don't know. But yeah. I don't think that goop will be on here. Alright. I'll do this as fast as I can here. Okay. And wait, no. Rotate this around like that. There we go. That's where I want it. Alright. And where's that motor lead? It's on the right there. So let's put this down like that. And then put this guy up through here like this. With anything but a TinyWhoop motor, it would just power right through it and be good to go. But man, these TinyWhoop motors, like, if there's anything hanging them up, they're not going to have the... Our brushless motors are considered non-censored brushless motors. Non-censored brushless motors do not make a ton of torque. So that initial little bit to get them started can be a little bit tough for our motors. And that's what you kind of got to see right there. Okay. I'm still going to kind of run into the problem of these props kind of banging into the ducts, but we'll figure that out. All right, so I'm going to put props onto them as I fix them. In theory, it'll just kind of self-clearance. and or I just don't push the props all the way down. Oh man, they are gummed up, yo. Frank Douglas says alcohol will clean up the flux. Chase says, what's up, watching the stream from work on a break at the moment. Michael D says, remember to have a magnet in hand, removing and reinstalling the E-clips in the motors. What I do, more missing runaway clips. I have really good luck just keeping my finger over top, but I've done a million. So a magnet or doing it in a clear plastic bag are a really, really, really good idea. All right, and let's get some more rubbing alcohol here, and I'm just going to go down below the desk and scrub this. Okay. Get it really good. Okay, scrubby, scrubby, scrubby. Come on, get in there. Get in there. Get it all out. Chase it all out, alcohol. Is there anything that alcohol can't do? And now let's give it a little spin. Oh yeah, we good. Okay, great. Get these screws put back in here. All right. So we're not going to do like a full comparison flight test here today. I'm just going to try to get it up in the air and just do like one quick battery just to say that we flew it. Either Sunday or maybe Monday or at some point here, we will do a live stream where we really kind of dig into the flight characteristics on this rig and compare it to some other stuff that I've got that I fly a lot. Just to kind of see the Fractal 60, the Fractal boards are Squished X. And technically speaking, Squished X is not as good as True X because you're taking away mechanical leverage from the pitch axis. And the pitch axis is where it has a little bit of extra weight because the battery runs front to back. But, you know, maybe that has some weird effect that actually in practice makes it fly better. You know, like the math doesn't always work out perfectly in the real world. So it helps to flight test some stuff. But yeah, man, these 0702s are not a good match for Cockroach canopy, Cockroach frame. They hit the supports on the to the duct. That's kind of annoying, I gotta be honest. Okay, get this guy spun up here, and plug that guy in. All right, we got two down. Yeah, hold on. I'm going to put one more turn in this. There we go. Okay. That looks a little bit better. Which ones aren't done? This one, but this one feels completely fine. I'm going to do it anyway, though, because the other ones are jacked up. There's probably at least a little bit of flux gumming this one up. The main problem with this one here, this is motor 1, the main problem with motor 1 here was that it was hitting the supports on the duct. Freely just says alcohol cannot keep you hydrated. That's true. I mean, you can really try hard though. Remember, don't be a quitter. No, definitely be a quitter. All right, scrubby, scrubby. All right. Motor number 1 is all better. Ah! That was going to be able to sneak it on there. The screws weren't even in it, though, so I wouldn't have been able to. 1, 2, 3. And duct. Come on. Come on, you bastard. Get in there. There we go. And motor. Where is the motor plug? Motor plug is to that side, so we're going to run it like that. Sorry if I'm doing some of this off camera. I'm trying my best, but I'm just going as fast as I can right now. 8-bit is seeing videos recommending charging our battery packs to 4.7 volts for extra performance. I mean, hell, why not charge them to 5 volts? That'll give you even more performance. But, you know, charging them up above the recommended numbers is going to decrease their lifespan in a big way. That's stuff that the racers do that are sponsored and don't have to pay for their own gear, or they've got daddy and mommy to pay for their gear. So yeah, that's like a sort of an old school trick. You know, won't see me doing that stuff. That's, you know, it's going to drastically decrease the lifespan of your gear doing stuff like that. But hey, you know, some of these guys have like infinite money, or at least their parents do, you know. And why not? If you're going to get a little benefit for it and money is no object, go for it, I guess. Come on. There we go. All right, one more. Come on. Yep. Here we go. Last gummed up motor coming at you. There we are. And a little bit of alcohol, a little bit of scrubby. Get out of there. Flux scoop. Get out of there. All right, so this is a great little lesson in being careful with flux, because it is goopy, and little tiny motors like these do not like goopiness. That now feels perfect again. Okay. And we're gonna go right there. Just say no to goopiness. Remember. If I were using the flux pen, which is a liquid flux, this would not have happened. This happened because I was using flux paste in that syringe. Dan Farley says, what is the can of tack used for holding during soldering? It's made by Mass Adhesives. massadhesive.com. It's called Thermally Resistive Putty. It's not very expensive, and it works a little bit better than Blue Tack. It's really good stuff, and it comes in this nice little tin, which is just delightful. Okay, and propeller on. We are de-gooped. Let's get it back into the motors tab and see if it's any better. It will almost certainly be better. But let's find out for sure. Okay. USB. And connect. Plugging in a battery. Fart. Betaflight's not Betaflight just switched to German. What the fuck? Why? Oh, no. I can't have you be in German, yo. I don't fucking know how to speak German. What? Okay. Got it. That was weird. Motor direction. I understand. Wizard. Start and spin. Good to go, other than one of these propellers hitting the ducts, and another one of these is just twitching. Motor 1 is spinning in the wrong direction. Now it's correct. Motor 2 is correct. Motor 3 is freaking the fuck out, but it's going in the right direction at least. Motor 4 is going in the wrong direction. So we're going to do that. We're going to stop motors, we're going to close, and we're going to fire these things up with some actual authority. There we go. Motor 3 is still really struggling. There it goes. It must have had a little bit of extra stuff in it, but now it's fine. You can tell by looking at the RPM here. It's firing up to 60,000 RPM. Here's motor 4, 64,000. Motor 2, 60,000. Motor 1, 60,000. Motor 4 is cranking. So, we are now good to go. Nah, man, I have to pull these propellers ever so slightly up on the shafts to get them to spin. That's super annoying. Now motor 2 is having a crisis. Oh boy. Yeah, there's something really weird happening here. Hear that? That ain't right. Yeah, there's big trouble in Little Chinatown here. I don't know what the hell's going on with this. Yeah, it ain't looking good for this rig tonight, friends. I don't know what the hell's going on with this motor too. Did you see how when I was increasing that slider, it wasn't increasing in RPM? It's, I don't know what's going on. It's full, and it's not, it's spinning like 4 RPM. Something ain't right here. Motor's not getting hot. Yeah, I mean, it ain't gonna fly like this, but I guess we'll try it because I think everything else is set up properly. But yeah, something's real jacked up here. Not sure if it's the, not sure if it's a problem with the AIO or the motors. My guess would be the motors because I got that goop all over them. I keep saying goop because it's just fun to say goop, but it's just flux. Good God, it's 9:30 already. Yeah, we gotta shut this. We gotta shut this shit down here. Let's just see if it'll fly. I'm sure that it won't with motor 2 acting up like that, but I don't know. It's worth a shot, I guess. Putting power to it. I think I set everything up that I need to set up. It's bound, that's for sure.
Welcome to OpenTX.
All right. Let's see here. Motor 2 won't even spin up now. Motor 2 is all gooped up again. Yeah, motor 2's got is not happy with life. Motor 3 is kind of jacked up too. Man, this sucks. I messed these motors all up, yo. Hold on. Oof. Oof. Nah, man, it's jacked up. Oh, man. You know. Nah. That's just dancing around the desk. Motors 2 and 3 are just having a crisis. It also looks like the motor shaft might be bent on motor 2. Ah, man, you know. Yeah, motor 2 is all kinds of jacked up. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's fine now. Oh, there it goes. Nah, it's still messed up. Wow, that was weird. It shut off and then it came back to life. Nah, it ain't happy. It's a shame. I was hoping we get to fly it tonight. Nah, yeah, motor 2 is just, like, ruined. All right, well, we got the build done. If you'd been following along, your rig would maybe be running. Mine's not because of user error. Welcome to my life. FPV Trucker says, loosen the motor screws a bit, maybe twisting the base a little. Yeah, that's not the problem. Ramdongo says, what's it weigh? It was 21 point something. We weighed it when we finished the build. And then Off Axis says, I wore my new CiottiFPV tie-dyed t-shirt onto my stream last night. Very cool. Love that, Marcel. Thanks for hanging, friends. I'm gonna shut this down because I'm annoyed. Be good. I'll see you guys Sunday at 3 o'clock, and hopefully this thing will be working by then. If I can't get these motors to work, I'm gonna swap on a set of different motors. So yeah, it should be working by Sunday, but no promises. Maybe we'll fix it on Sunday. I don't really know. CiottiFPV.com to support this wild and woolly journey that is doing FPV full time. Here comes some more flying from Florida. Enjoy. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And yeah. Hold on. My God. Later, friends. Thanks for hanging.